Hey everybody, it's Brad Whitehouse here at Remax Pros for Real, episode number 4, and I have the one and only Rike Palese. Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, my pleasure.
Okay, so as you may or may not know, Remax Pros for Real. So the idea is no scripts, no prep, questions that I haven't even thought of yet, but hopefully will drag something out of you that you regret later.
There you go. I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. I'm really, really thankful to have you. And I want to start first by saying congratulations doesn't seem to be the right way to say it, but maybe more thank you for being the recipient of the Tom Shack Award most recently.
That was awesome. Totally unexpected, but of all of the zillions of awards we've received over the years, that is the one that really means the most to me.
Well, thanks, truly, thanks. It's obviously a very meaningful award to me because I love Tom so much. But for everybody that doesn't know, the Tom Shack Award is one that we give that to someone that's demonstrated an exceptional amount of leadership and just giving back not only to our industry but to our company. And it took Mike and Ellen and I about a minute and a half to decide that you were the recipient. That may be a little longer than it actually took us.
It's much appreciated.
Yeah, well, thanks for everything that you do.
You bet.
Okay, so 2 minutes. Give me how you got into the business. And I met you when you were at Remax Classic. So give me just a synopsis of what drew you to the real estate business and how you got to Remax Classic.
So I actually always wanted to be a real estate broker. And my parents had tons of control over me at college time. And they said, oh, no, you can't be a real estate broker. You've got to go to college, got to do, whatever. So I went into architecture because I thought that was next best thing and did that for a few years.
Where'd you go to college?
That was great. University of Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Finance football team. But that was great and did that for about 8 years. Yeah. And then went into the retail world for a while.
Yep.
And enjoyed that, but just always wanted to get into real estate. And I just decided one day that's what I was going to do and just made that change.
And what year was that you got into real estate?
Oh my gosh, 27 years ago. So I think it was 1996.
Yeah, okay. Wow, only 3 years before I did.
There you go.
How did you get so far ahead of me in just 3 years? Seems like maybe it should have been 20 years ahead of me, but only 3 years? That's humbling. Man, oh man. So, straight to Remax Classic?
Yes.
Yeah. And Jack and Lois.
Remax Classic, Jack and Lois.
Two of my favorite
when
people.
They were really starting the company. I think we were like the 10th and 11th brokers that they had hired. So it was right at the beginning of their company.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was a great company.
In every merger that we've done, we have picked up, in some cases, one or two, in some cases, a lot of really, really good things. And you are one of the great things that we pulled from Remax Classic.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That was a big, big win for us. Along with Jack and Lois, who's still in our DTC office.
I saw Lois the other day.
She's amazing.
Yep.
She is amazing.
She was doing a deal the other day.
And Mike Dugan came from that. I mean, I can't say that Dugan was one of the great things that we brought. I'm just kidding. I love Dugan. He's amazing. Who else would we get our CE credits from if we didn't have Mike Dugan? Love you, Doogie. Okay, so 96, you joined Remax Classic. And then in 2009, we slapped you in the face with Welcome to Remax Professionals, whether you like it or not.
That's right.
How did that go? I mean, be honest with me. What was the first impression when you heard the news?
Well, I mean, I didn't really know anything about Remax Professionals, to be honest with you. And I thought, well, got to have a place to hang my license. So let's go give it a whirl. And it's actually been great. Very, very eye-opening. Remax Classic was a great company.
Yeah, it was.
But just not the kinds of tools and services and everything that we have here. It's just a little bit of a night and day difference.
We do our best to overwhelm you as much as possible.
And that is the case.
Yeah. Okay, so 2009, you come over to Remax Professionals.
Yep.
And pretty quickly thereafter, you accept the position of manager of the DTC
2011.
location. What the hell were you thinking?
I don't know.
You crazy or something?
Sucked me into that.
I don't know. I still wake up every morning and go, what? Why does he do this?
How did that happen?
So let me ask the question a little bit differently. you love to give back to this business.
I do.
And clearly you don't need to be managing. It's not about the money.
No, it's not.
Why are you laughing?
For sure.
Why are you laughing? But your desire to give back to your agents is really inspiring. I mean, it's very, very cool.
That's sort of what it's about for me.
Yeah. And so tell me about that. I mean, because we get a little bit of a feel for it. Mike and Alan and I do. I mean, I've always said my favorite part of this business is having the ability to maybe leave an imprint on some of our agents a little bit through the tools that we offer, or maybe advice that we give or whatever, and then see them take that and make something of it and succeed.
Absolutely.
But tell me about that. I mean, where does that come from?
It's just, it's super exciting to be able to do exactly what you said, try and have a positive influence on somebody in this world, and try and impart on them any kinds of advice, skills, knowledge, anything that you can to hopefully make them be better at who they want to be.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
It is. That's definitely the reason I do it.
That's awesome. That's great. So the reason you do it, you do very, very well. And so a question that I have for you is, if you were to, because people have questions all the time, like, Rick, how do you do what you do? And now it's really leaning not just from an agent perspective, but you've really built an incredible team, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's really become a huge part of what you do every day. So
it really is.
Let's start with the agent perspective first. From the agent side, just selling real estate successfully, if you could go back to 1996 when you started with Jack and Lois, and start over again knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? I mean, what are some of the things that you would apply to, not like you needed to escalate your success any faster, but what would you do differently, or what would you suggest that agents starting out would do?
So I'm going to say two things. They're a little bit related, but one is really grasp the concept of how powerful a sphere list is. And not just having a list, but how to use it. And all the different ways you can use it. It's so powerful. And I didn't get that for probably the first 10 years that I was in the business. I had a list, but I just didn't use it that much, and didn't use it for prospecting and, all of the things that I have, done with it in the last 15, 17 years. And the other piece that's sort of related to that is really learning about giving back. Being a giver to your clients, whether that's knowledge, whether it's an event, no matter what it is, just the power of that. We had a client event last night for Halloween, and I just had so many people come up to me and say, "You are the only real estate broker that we've ever worked with that gives back to your clients." And it's such a powerful thing. I think most agents just don't understand that. They're always looking for, what can that person give to me? Who has a referral for me? Or what client can I get? Or who wants to sell? Who wants to buy? And it's sort of the reverse of that. If you have the giving philosophy and that mentality, then the business comes to you. You don't ever have to really ask for it because it's there.
I tell agents all the time, there's two sides of this business. There's the transactional side of the business, and which you handle very, very well because you've got a lot of transactions. But the reason you have so many transactions isn't because you're an expert in transactions. It's because you're an expert in relationships.
Absolutely.
And if you have that attitude of, I just want to nurture my relationships by doing things that I really enjoy doing, and that's connecting with my people and giving back to my sphere, right? And just, if you do that really, really well, then the opportunity to help people buy and sell real estate will come in droves.
It is.
Right?
It's just so easy, really. It's such a simple concept.
But I think when agents get stressed and when they get anxious about either starting out in the business or the market has shifted, and so now I'm worried about transactions, they immediately start thinking about transactions. Buyers and sellers and transactions and contracts and houses and all of the stuff that's really, really important, but it's putting the cart ahead of the horse, right? And it's this sort of backwards way of thinking that, well, to make money, I need to sell houses. True. But to sell houses, you have to have relationships.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to keep straight, right?
It is. If you can sort of shift your mindset into an attitude of plenty,
Yeah.
and come to the world with that from a positive, sort of plentiful attitude instead of a fear attitude,
Yeah.
it frees you to do the right things.
Yeah.
And make the right decisions for your business and for your life and everything. And it just changes your whole perspective.
Totally. I never knew you when you were in real estate, but I knew a buddy named Doug Hauk.
Yes.
And I know you knew Doug,
Yes.
or know Doug.
Yep.
And Doug had that philosophy in clothing sales, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, I just wanted to go hang out with Doug, whether I was even shopping for clothes or not. And Doug was always inviting me in and calling me in and just saying, hey, look, come in, let's connect, right?
Yeah.
And I never walked out without spending money on a shirt or
Exactly.
something, and a lot of money because his stuff wasn't right. But that was his
Same
whole
same
philosophy.
attitude.
He just created an environment that you want to be in.
Yeah.
And he just made it really, really easy to connect with them and spend money.
Yeah, and it, really that philosophy just transcends any industry. It doesn't
Right.
matter what it is.
Right.
It's any kind of service industry like what we're in.
Yeah.
That attitude works.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I want to talk about hospitality too, because I haven't been to your place in Arizona. I can't wait to get down there and spend time. But every time that I talk to someone that has visited your home, they're like, the home is amazing. The hospitality is off the charts. I mean, people rave about the way that you and John treat people when they visit,
Yeah.
right? And I think that kind of plays into the same philosophy. I mean, you
It
aren't
is.
doing it
We
to
just-
sell houses.
Yeah.
It's just a desire that you have to serve people,
Yeah,
right?
we just love that's part of our life that we love to do is host people.
Yeah.
And it's just fun for us. And you're right, it's just the same kind of attitude that sort of just permeates through everything that we do.
Right. Okay, so what if someone doesn't love hospitality and hosting? Because that's a real thing, right?
Sure.
I mean, there are people that it's just not natural to host events or host people in their homes. I mean, the same philosophy still applies. Like, find the way that you're going to connect with people,
Yes.
right? I mean,
I think that's the beauty of real estate.
Yeah.
There are a million different ways to skin the cat.
yes.
I mean, everybody in our company does it differently.
Yep.
There is no exact recipe for
Right.
being successful. And that's a beautiful thing because that lets every individual do what they want. And I think you always have to put yourself into doing things that are comfortable for
Right.
you.
Right.
If you aren't comfortable, the message is never going to be genuine.
Yeah.
It's never going to feel right to the other person or people or whomever you're talking with or interacting with.
Right.
And it's never going to work. It would be just like me. And I use this all the time with new agents. If you told me I had to go knock on doors today, I'd say, bye-bye.
Right.
Real estate's been great.
Right.
Not my deal. I'm not doing it. But we've got a lot of agents in our company that knock on doors
Yeah.
and they do a great job.
And they
at
kill it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you just, you have to find those things that work for you.
Yep.
And really immerse yourself into those things. And that's just different for everyone.
Great message as we enter into the business planning season,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, essentially, to wrap up the agent side of things, the message is be you, do you, find a way to connect with people in a way that gets you excited to get up in the morning and go do it.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I would say is make sure that you are setting goals, clear, tangible goals inside of that space of things that you enjoy doing.
Yes.
If you're setting goals because someone else that does something that you're not comfortable with tells you ought to knock on doors, don't set that goal because you're
No.
going to fail,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So find the plan that works for you.
Right. You've got to have a why.
Right.
When you get up in the morning, whatever that is. And everybody, again, has a different one. But you've got to have a why. If you don't have a why, there's nothing that really motivates you.
That's good stuff. That's
You
really
just
good stuff.
have to have that.
Teams.
Yes.
So Teams has become a huge part of you and your business
Yes.
now. So tell me you've had a team for a while, but tell me what the transition to when you and Erica decided,
Right.
all right, let's take this to another level.
Right.
What was the cause of that? And And maybe start a little bit with why team, why go from individual agent to team, and then what caused you to decide, okay, we're going to go maybe to what some might consider to be the mega team philosophy.
So Jonathan and I have always been a team.
Yep.
So we were sort of maybe one of the very early adopters in the Denver market of that team kind of philosophy. And for us, that started out as just, better ability to serve our clients. And take care of our clients. When we decided, it's been 4 years now when Eric and I got together and we decided we were going to create a bigger team, it really came about from, at some point, we're not going to do this forever. However, it would be too painful for either of us to just shut the door. And, end of November, that's my last day and everything's gone.
Right.
That would be so hurtful for me to just see everything that I've worked for the last however many years, just be done.
And hurtful to the people that you have relationships with, right?
And that as well. It was something that I couldn't do. We both looked for years for mini-me's, to bring into our small teams. And that is sort of an impossible thing to find because nobody is you. You are you, and nobody's ever going to be you. So we thought, okay, the next best thing is to really blow it up and create something that can go on really forever. And our kids can run it, and maybe their kids can run it down the road, and just really set it up to a point where it really is a bigger business that becomes very much self-sustaining, and we're sort of the rainmakers and the managers of it, but we have management levels underneath us, so we're already sort of preparing that next generation, if you will. And not that I have any plans on going anywhere anytime soon, because I love doing what I'm doing. But that was really sort of the driver, was how can we see our business continue on into the future, literally forever.
You say that and you're doing that, but there's a lot of work that goes behind that, right? I mean, there's a ton of organization.
It's a huge amount of work to have a team.
If you could break it down into just a couple pieces of advice for someone that's thinking, all right, it's time for me to either start a team or it's time for me to take my team to the next level. What do you have to have? I mean, what do you got to have in place to do that?
So I think number one, you have to have a commitment to your team members. And again, I'm going to liken it to that give back. You can't just create a team to take a percentage of their commissions of what they're earning. You've got to give back and you've got to show some value. Otherwise, you're just going to have a revolving door and you're going to have new team members every 6 months. And all you're doing then is becoming a school for people on training them and they're going, training them and they're going. So our attitude is to create an environment where they want to be with us forever. They don't really ever want to leave. And in doing that, we offer them a lot. We offer them all kinds of additional tools and marketing beyond what Pros does, coaching, training, accountability, which is a huge piece. And certainly we offer leads, but that is sort of the last thing on our list. Our goal is to really help them build the best sustainable business of their own that they can.
Which is really, really fascinating to me, because a lot of team leaders are afraid to have their team members become self-sufficient, right? Because they're afraid that they'll leave.
That's 100% our goal. Because really what happens is they don't want to leave because they become so ingrained in our philosophy and our approach and what we do that they know it would be really difficult for them to recreate that themselves.
And you're not doing them a service by limiting their own personal success. You want to build their success.
We do. That's our number one goal.
And then the challenge for you becomes, okay, how do I create or help someone become something that is is everything that they want to be, but inside of an environment that they have no desire to leave.
Right.
So that's really cool.
And it's really different for each individual.
Yeah.
They each have different goals. They each have different things that they want. So you really have to be willing to appeal to that. You cannot make, in our case, 20 team members, you can't make all 20 of them the same thing.
Yeah.
They're not robots. They're human beings. They're individuals. They all have different whys that they do this. And we've got to help them make the best version of themselves that they can be.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
very
awesome.
cool. We love doing it. When we see success, we've got a couple of younger agents on our team right now that are they've been with us probably 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And they're just now really having their first successes. And the ball is really rolling for them. And it's really exciting for us to see them become winners.
Well, it's so rewarding. Like I said, to be able to see maybe a little bit of a glimpse or a reflection of what you've instilled in their businesses, and you see that actually working, and they're achieving what they want to achieve because of that.
It really is super exciting.
It's not only happening with the 20 agents on your team, it's happening with about close to 200 agents between Greenwood Village and DTC. And so thank you very much for everything that you do for RE/MAX professionals. And Mike Allen and I are we comment constantly on how thankful we are that somehow we talk to you into sitting in the seat that you sit in every day.
Well, it goes both ways.
Well,
it's
thanks.
my pleasure.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
You bet.